obviously Brady. I mean, they can be affected. Chicago at New York looks like it's going to be rainy all day. So look for a lot of runs, look for a lot of dump offs possibly as well. Michael Carter could be a good play this week, especially with check down Mike White getting the start. You've got Cincinnati at Tennessee, some light showers. They're saying 15-mile-per-hour winds at kickoff, dropping to about 10 miles per hour by the end of the game. Denver and Carolina, another one, 10 to 15-mile-per-hour winds. Not dealing with any rain or anything. But Atlanta, Washington, heavy rain pregame. It says the field could be pretty much like a slip and slide. And rain could be ongoing at kickoff, should taper off as the game goes on, but light winds. So it's close. Just the field conditions could be a little tricky there. And then you've got the Vegas at Seattle. I mean, some showers, chance of rain with light winds, but nothing crazy there. Anyway, that's what I look at. Usually I'll just check that out Sunday morning. I don't really look at it before then. I might take a peek, Friday or Saturday, but typically I don't really take a look at this until Sunday. And see if that changes any of my decisions. Obviously, because weather just can change drastically within a couple of days, and what's forecasted and what's actually going to happen once that day comes. So we always kind of take a look at that in the morning. But all right, let's see if I could get into this underdog here, and let's start looking at some bets that we can make. I mean, on Thanksgiving, we got the nice win. We got the really nice win. All right. Let's check it out. We've got first game, Denver, Carolina. I don't love any of the Russ shit. I mean, he just hasn't been good. Latavius Murray, I mean, 12.2 rush attempts. He's definitely going to go over that. He's most likely will hit the rushing yards as well, but let's run with that. That's almost pretty much a lock. We'll pick out a bunch from each of the games, and then I'll go over some locks. We'll go over all of them, but I'll hit you with a few of my locks. This'll be one of them. I mean, all right. Cortland Sutton. You can probably roll with the Cortland Sutton receiving yards or receptions as well with no Judy there. You could probably expect a little bit of that. You've got Kendall Hinton, Sam Darnold, Foreman. I mean, Foreman 56 rushing yards. Denver's got a good D. But even and I mean 56, that's not a high number, so I don't mind that. Um, so yeah, I think I like that. What else we got here? Terrace Marshall. Either hit or miss. I mean, you can go with the Marshall, maybe 38 receiving yards. That's one catch or one bomb, which what he's been doing lately. So that wouldn't be too bad. But these are probably the ones I like best for this game. You could throw the Sutton in there. You could throw the Sutton in there as well, either the receiving yards or the receptions. But these are the two that I would particularly like for this game there. You've got Atlanta and Washington. Let's see what we got rolling here. Patterson, 11 and a half rushing attempts. I'm pretty sure that Huntley is out this game. Let's check that. Come on. He is questionable, limited in practice. I mean, Patterson is not bad. How many rushes did Patterson get last week? Let's check this out. I mean, Washington has played some solid defense. I mean, he had 10 carries last game, which I don't love it. I don't love it. I don't love the Algier. Um, the Drake London, I mean, there's no Pitts, so maybe the receiving yards. I mean, 40 receiving yards is not much, especially for the number one target. Where even if he gets only a few targets, I mean, that's possible. So I think I like that. Or you can even go with the fantasy points. I mean, there's a good chance, especially down in the red zone, that Drake London is heavily targeted, especially with Pitts out. So you can go receiving yards or fantasy points. If he gets a touchdown, he'll pretty much hit that fantasy point one. So you're basically banking on that. But I think I'd probably just roll with the receiving yards. Let's see what else we got here. I mean, Zacchaeus 28 receiving yards. I mean, can he do that with no Pitts? I mean, let's see what Zacchaeus has been up to. I mean, that's just and that's what we're looking for, especially in like underdog formats and any of the formats where you can do these kind. What the hell? My bad, my shit just bugged out. All right, let's check this out because that's, I mean, two catches right there, and that could be an easy hit. Yeah, I mean, last week he had two catches for 9 yards. I mean, he had a catch for 9 yards. I mean, nah, I don't like it. He hasn't been really that involved. Again, with Pitts out, it's possible that he could be decent there. I mean, Pruitt, 7.5 receiving yards only. That's basically, one catch, maybe two, but it's tough to really bank on those. The field goal is not bad. 1.5 field goals for Coot. That means he's got to hit two field goals. I mean, Washington has played good D, so if Atlanta could get down in there. But again, I mean, we saw the weather a little bit. I don't know. He can definitely do that, though. I wouldn't mind taking a chance on Koo there as well. We've got Heineke, 28 pass attempts. I mean, yeah, this all depends. Let's see, Gibby. Gibby, I like. Gibby, I mean, had more carries last game, was involved in the pass game as well. I think we can definitely go for the rushing attempts probably here. You can really hit anything on Gibby almost here. 51 rushing yards, um, attempts, receiving yards. You could probably hit on any of these. The rushing yards seem just extremely low. And I know last game, he did have more carries than Brian Robinson, but Brian Robinson still had a lot of carries. He had 18 last game, 14 the game before. Yeah, I mean, the 12.5 seems very doable, even with B Rob there, of course. So, I mean, but he should definitely, if he gets that, I mean, he should definitely hit the rushing yards. He's got 3 catches in all the past 3 games as well. So, you're talking about some receptions he can hit. You can hit really on any of these ones. I'm trying to decide which one do I want to go with. I mean, with the conditions, he can probably, like I said, he's going to hit on any of these. But which one do we go with? Which one has the highest probability? The receptions, probably. The rushing attempts, the rushing yards. These are. probably the three that I would look at, or even just the straight up fantasy points. But let's go with the rushing attempts. Brian Robinson, another good one. The 54 rushing yards is decent. Terry's been on a tear. I mean, that defense isn't is not that good in the secondary. But again, with the weather, it's tough. I probably won't take the chance, but I don't mind if you go and do that. This is what we got so far. And I guess everything that I'm throwing up here are pretty much the ones I'm locking in. Like I mentioned, I gave you some other ones that you can hit on, but I'm gonna go for some, the locks. All right. Houston and Miami game. I mean, Kyle Allen gets to start. This is just not a good game for Dameon Pierce. Nico Collins, I mean, I think he should definitely hit either the receiving yards or the receptions. In this game, I'll probably just go with the receptions, but all right. So let's roll with that there. I don't know if I'm allowed to actually place the bet like on the screen. So anyway, those were the ones that we're going with there. Um, that's the first batch. All right. Make sure you place the insurance always, guys. Kyle Allen. No, Damian Pierce. We went to Nico one. Tua, Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson's good game for him, but these are just, they're high props. You can definitely hit on these. I probably like the rushing yards the best. You got Cheetah, Waddle. I mean, receiving yards are probably the ones you want to go with. Waddle's is not crazy high. I mean, only 71. I don't really even love the Jeff Wilson one just because it's kind of high. Like you want to go for higher probability. I mean, even though he's the only guy there, so he is a good one, to go with. But you know, just saying. All right, Cincinnati at Tennessee. Let's see what's good with this. Joe Burrow. I mean, he's been on a tear, but Tennessee somehow finds a way to do well. P. Ryan, do we think he gets in the end zone? Rushing yards. I mean, he's the only guy there. 12 and a half rushing attempts. Let's check out his attempts for last game. Yeah, he had 11 attempts last game, and I'll probably run with the rushing attempts on this too. Rushing yards is not bad either. I mean, only 46, so you can probably go with either one of those. But let's go with the rushing attempts on this. T. Higgins, the receiving yards. I mean, no chase, so it's looking good there. But Boyd has an even better one with 53 only. But let's roll with the Higgins. Let's roll with the Higgins. He's been on it. Tennessee side, I mean, Henry's is always pretty high. You could probably bank on the rushing attempts on this as well. I mean, and there I don't always do the rushing attempts, but it just so happens that there's just a ton of yeah, we're gonna roll with the rushing attempts on this one. But there's just like good options. It just seems like they're good this week to do that. Traylon Burks, 45 receiving yards. That sounds good. That's a couple catches. I mean, that's what I roll with. That's what I roll with here. So Jeff Wilson, rushing yards, P. Ryan, rushing attempts, Higgins, receiving yards, Henry, rushing attempts, Treylon Burks, the receiving yards. Let's throw that in there. Yeah, usually I bet like $5 a bet. But we've been oh, they took away the Jeff Wilson. All right, so we're not done yet. Damn, it was too late and they took away the Jeff Wilson on us guys, so that's all right. That's all right. Let's get to the next one, which was Chicago and Jets. You've got Simeon, you've got Monty. I mean, that's a good defense that they're going against. I don't love the Monty ones tonight. Maybe the receptions if you wanted to bet on it, but I don't love anything there. Mike White. No, Michael Carter. It's tough to bank on any of this. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. The three receptions you can probably hit here with Mike White. I think I like that of all of them. I'd probably take that chance. I don't love anything else. I mean, Corey Davis, 30 receiving yards. That's nothing. I would go with that, especially if he's playing. But yeah, I think that's what I'd do there. Roll with the Michael Carter there to top that off. So I mean, when I'm giving you advice on all of them, but that's 10 picks. That's two bets pretty much that I am doing that I'm sharing with y'all. And then we've got Brady, we've got here Rashard White. I mean, this is a good one. Receiving yards, rushing and receiving, rushing 66, touchdown. The receptions, he's probably let's go with the rushing yards. Let's go with the rushing yards. I think he'll definitely hit that. You can go with either though. I mean, the touchdown is definitely doable. The receiving yards, the receptions I like as well. You can go either or. Go with rushing yards or receptions, guys. Rushing yards or receptions. I mean, the receptions might be an even better bet, but hold on, let's see. Let's check him out. Yeah, he's had, I mean, no catches last game, before that, three before that. He's been constantly getting three catches. But yeah, let's go with the rushing yards. Let's go with the rushing yards and the volume. Evans, Godwin. I mean, these are not high props. I mean, 60 receiving yards, but eight odd and suck up. Jacoby, who's been solid. Nick Chubb. You can probably lock in for a TD here. Kareem Hunt. I mean, Mari Cooper's been on a roll. I mean, 53 and a half receiving yards. That is a couple catches. That's nothing. I'll take that. I mean, with the way that he's been playing, I'll take that. I think that's all that I kind of like here. I might like the Godwin 60 receiving yards. That's not bad at all either. But don't forget, the weather in that game, guys. As well. Morris is just even lower, so I just prefer the Amari side. All right, Baltimore, Jacksonville. We've got Lamar. We've got Gus. Um, Kenyon Drake. I mean, these are very low. 27 and a half rushing. Oops. 27 and a half rushing yards. 37 and a half rushing yards. These are both pretty good plays. You can probably roll with either one of those. I mean, I think Gus is playing, if I'm not mistaken. Let's check it out. Says he is questionable. He is expected to suit up. Yeah, I mean, if Gus is suiting up, the rushing yards are doable. I mean, in the games he has played, 66 and 65 rushing yards. So I think I do like the Gus here. Let's roll with Gus. Mark Andrews, Trevor Lawrence. I don't love the QB plays. 72 rushing yards for ETN. I like it, but it's still I don't love it. I don't really like anything else there. I'm gonna skip those, but I wouldn't mind doing the ETN the rushing if you wanted to pick one. Let's see. Herbert Eckler, Eckler 5 catches, 37.5 receiving yards. I do like the Keenan Allen. I mean, he's back. We could roll with the receiving yards on Keenan Allen. Palmer's a good option too. Only 58 receiving yards for Palmer, but I'll still roll with Keenan on that. Kyler, James Conner, 15.5 rushing attempts, touchdown, 66.5 rushing yards. And this one is tough. I mean, you've got Hollywood coming back, so I don't necessarily love the Hopkins. I don't love Connor. I don't love any of those there. So I think that's all that we'd roll that I'd suggest or roll with for that game. Let's go to Vegas, Seattle. I mean, Devontae's been on a tear. You can probably lock in the receiving yards. It is, still a little high, but it is Devontae. We've seen what he's been doing. Gino's been on a tear. That took away the touchdown. He's been hitting the 2 touchdown mark like every game. You've got Kenneth Walker here, and he's been getting work. I like the rushing yards, or even the rushing attempts, I think, because yeah, 26, 18, 23, 21. Last game only 10, but so yeah, the rushing yards you can take here, or the rushing attempts. You can do either or. So there's you know, another five. I don't know how many more I'm gonna do. Usually I make like probably 3 to 4 bets. And I use like pretty much $5 each. I put the insurance on it, so if you bank 4 out of 5, you get $50. I mean, if you bank 5 out of 5, you get the $50. If you bank 4 out of 5, you at least make 2.5 times or whatever it is. So that's what keeps me going in. I don't really deposit money in here. I probably spent maybe $50 altogether in Underdog so far this year, and then I mean I'm up, so I don't go crazy. Obviously you can, but we've got all right. Let's go back to yeah. I think that was it for DK Lockett. I mean, I don't really love. I don't love any of those. Let's go to New Orleans and San Fran. Let's check this out. We've got Andy Dalton. Oh, Kamara playing against a good defense. Not a great matchup. Maybe I don't know. Maybe the catches. I mean, Landry, maybe 36.5 receiving yards. Anything really that's kind of low. I mean, Jawan Johnson's been pretty much getting, top 10 tight end. He's been getting some good work. And 24 receiving yards is not a lot, but let's see what has he been doing. 42, 44, 47 the past 3 games. I mean, 14, 32, 41. So 24 definitely is not a lot. Obviously, they're playing a good defense, but I think that is doable for Jawan Johnson. So I'll roll with that, especially what the number's been doing. So all right, let's check out the Rams and KC here. Cam Akers, Kyron Williams. Um, Let me check out Kyron Williams for a second because you may want to like the receiving on this. The catches. I mean, he had 1 catch last game, 3 catches the game before. They are going against KC. We don't know who the QB is. Oh, well, I mean, we know who the QB is, but does that mean he checks it down more? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. If I had to bet on any of them, I'd probably bet on the 1.5 receptions for Kyron Williams because that's 2 catches. I mean, that's not much. And with the backup QB in, that's very much possible. We'll throw it in there. Fuck it. All right, Patty has been obviously unbelievable. His numbers obviously are extremely high, but they are going against the Rams, so there's a slim possibility. I mean, if they do jump out, I mean, then Isaiah Pacheco, that the rushing yards look good there. Kelsey's been on fire. Again, we don't know exactly who's getting the ball here. Juju is back. Miko Hardman is out. Sky Moore is, interesting little 21 receiving yards. That's not much at all. With Juju back, it's hard to bank on that. We don't know what we're gonna get yet. All right, we got 2 more games here. Let's see what last bets we got in here. Aaron Jones. I mean, I don't like betting on any of that. Now AJ Dillon's is really low. It's only 30 rushing yards. Let's see what he's been doing. I mean, he's been literally. Let's see. He's only been under 30 twice. So if you want to put it that way, I mean, they are playing Philly, so I mean, I get it, but it is only 30 rushing yards. I don't know if they keep the game. I don't know. It's a tough one. If you had to bet on one so far for Green Bay, that would be one that I would like. Lazard, I mean, they've got to throw the ball too, so I think I like the Lazard 46.5. I mean, he's been solid for Aaron Rodgers. Watson's been on fire, but more getting touchdowns, not as much receptions and receiving yards. Yeah, I think I like the Lazard. I mean, that's, a couple plays, especially if they're down and they got to throw the ball. That would be decent. And I don't love any of these last ones, but the ones that are there, those are ones I like. Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, AJ Brown. I just don't know what to expect almost. So it's rough. I don't think I like any of those there. I mean, we need one more anyway to just complete this one, so we'll get one more in here. But Najee, I like. Najee, I do like. I think I like the rushing. Um, I think what's his name? Warren is out, so I do like that. We'll roll with that. Pickens, the receiving, definitely is a nice one that you might like as well. Fryermuth, 12 targets last game. I think I like the Fryermuth 44.5 receiving yards as well. I'd roll with that because that is definitely doable. Um, let's not mess with Kyron Williams because just whatever. Um, let's roll with the Fryermuth. I like the Fryermuth. He's been looking for Fryermuth, and they've been looking to get him involved. So let's roll with that. JT 86.5 rushing yards. That's doable. That's not crazy bad. I like that as well. So that'd be one. Paris Campbell 43. Michael Pittman 66. Let's probably just roll with these here. But yeah, those are the last ones that I'd go with. Let's see if I can zoom out this. There we go. Let's say what we got going. So we've got four. Let me just show you them real quick. So we've got Najee, 62 and a half rushing yards. Lazard, 46 and a half receiving yards. Higher. Fryermuth, higher than 44 and a half receiving yards. Juwan Johnson, higher than 24 and a half receiving yards. And Pacheco, over 64 and a half rushing yards. Now, you can play these any which way that you want. Mix in and match. Obviously, these are just the ones that I like. So um, you can kind of mix and match what you like in there and kind of make your own things. I was kind of just going as the games went down, which sometimes it isn't always a great idea. Sometimes it's better to mix and match certain ones that you do like, especially. But I'll make one more after this, one more bet of the ones that I like the absolute most. But Rashard White, 66 and a half rushing yards, over. Amari Cooper, over 53 and a half receiving yards. Kenneth Walker, over 77 and a half rushing. Gus Edwards, over 37 and a half rushing. And Keenan Allen, over 69 and a half receiving. And then we've got Derrick Henry, over 21 and a half rushing attempts. T. Higgins, over 77 and a half receiving yards. Michael Carter, over three receptions. P. Ryan, over 12 and a half rushing attempts, and Burks, over 45 and a half receiving yards. And the last one that we've got here is Drake London, over 38.5 receiving. Nico Collins, over 3.5 receptions. Donta Foreman, over 56 and a half rushing. Gibson, over 12 and a half rushing attempts, and also Murray, 12 and a half. Uh, we picked 12 and a half receiving yards. I didn't want receiving yards. Damn, we picked the wrong one there. That one's a mess up. That shouldn't have been receiving yards. I think we were doing rushing attempts. Rushing attempts there. I might have clicked the wrong one, but anyway. Did it take away the rushing attempts maybe? And yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, guys, that's what I got for the picks for right now. Any questions, guys, let me know before I hop off this, as we've kind of set everything there. Like I said, I'm running through. I'm making one of my last hoorah of the ones that I like the most, which is going to be Latavius Murray, 62 and a half rushing yards. That's going to be an absolute lock for me. Let's go with the Gibby, 12 and a half rushing attempts. That was going to be a lock for me as well. Who else was locked? Wilson, the 84 and a half rushing yards. I mean, it's high, but Cincinnati, P. Ryan. Let's go with the rushing attempts there. That was locked in for me. Let's see. We got a couple more here. We need two more. The Rashard White, 66 and a half rushing. Locking that bad boy in. And the other lock will be the Gus Edwards, 37 and a half rushing. Pull that up for y'all real quick so y'all can see that. Latavius Murray, 62 and a half rushing, over 12 and a half rushing attempts for Gibson, over 12 and a half rushing attempts for P. Ryan, over 66 and a half rushing attempts for Rashard White. I mean, over 66 and a half rushing yards for Rashard White, my bad. And Gus Edwards, over 37 and a half rushing. That's going to be the rushing that I like. That's going to be my lock for that. And so we've got, what, five now? We've got five bets in there. Now let's hope that one of them hits. And again, I'm not great at giving betting advice. This is just what I am doing. So don't take this and go out and make all these bets and lose money. Um, don't spend money you don't have. I don't provoke gambling at all, but it's fun to do fantasy wise with a couple dollars. I mean, like I said, you know, we've got I do $5 a bet, and I've got one, two, three, four, five. So I spent, 25 bucks this week. Which is not bad. We just won on Thanksgiving. That one I actually by accident didn't insure the bet. I forgot to insure it, and we wound up hitting all five. So that was a nice big win. I was getting down in my account with the money that I had in there. That was a big that was a nice hit. That was a nice hit, but I didn't have to replenish, so that works. But yeah, if we hit any of these, I mean 5, 10, 15, 20. So if we hit any of these, we will be up from 25 spent to 50, so we double uh what we paid to get in. So it'd be a 2-to-1 win with just one hit. If we hit more than that, then that goes further. But all right, guys, if we don't got anybody in here, any questions at all, then I guess I will be out of here. But let me know, drop any comments. I'll try to get back to you right before the game start. But that's what we're rolling with for today, guys. Jackson, what up, Jackson? Olave or Juju? I mean, Olave's got the tough matchup, but he is the wide receiver one. Juju, I mean, they're going against a lesser team, and anybody can get the ball and really score for the Chiefs. So uh, it's tough. It's tough, but I guess we'll have to just go with. I think I want to say Juju though. Even being said that, it's like Juju does get a decent amount of targets. And it's just a more explosive offense. So, I mean, Olave just doesn't have a good matchup this week. Last week he didn't do great either. He caught the bomb, and that just happened to be it. But mm, that's right. Give me Olave. I'll go with the targets. Just give me Olave, bro. Just give me Olave. I know, man. Listen, I don't like it either. That's why it's tough it's tough, man. I don't like it either. It's a real tough decision and they're both, there's good things and bad things about both of them, like I just mentioned. So just depends on what do you want to do? Do you want to go with the wide receiver that is the actual wide receiver one and the only guy there in a game that they could be down, but they are going against a good defense, so it's like, or do you play Juju where, again, not a great matchup because they could be destroying this team, but at the same time, Juju is a guy that catches passes, so it's like shit, man. But yeah, I'm gonna roll with Olave. I'm gonna go with a guy that's been better all season. The guy that is, I think he's like wide receiver 14 right now in half PPR. So I'm gonna go with the top 15 wide receiver and go with Olave, than Juju. So, but that's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. Burks or Peoples Jones? I'm gonna go with Burks. I mean, we've had this question yesterday too. Very a lot of somewhat similar ones. And I think Burks and Peoples Jones was actually one of them. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Burks. Peoples Jones has been solid, but at the same time, I mean, he's got one touchdown on the year. He's not the first option, and I believe the weather in that game is not gonna be great either. Yeah, they're supposed to be 10, 15 mile per hour winds, gusts over 25 miles per hour. So, especially with the weather too, Dylan, I'm just gonna roll with Burks. I'm gonna roll with Burks. I mean, even Cincinnati at Tennessee, they're expecting 15 mile per hour winds, also, but that will be between like 10 and 15, as well, but not as bad as the other game, but it's tough. I'm gonna go with Burks. He's the number one guy there. We saw last week that Tannehill was looking for him, so that's what I'm gonna roll with, Dylan. I'll roll with Burks and that upside. Peoples Jones could definitely do his thing, but we haven't seen him, score touchdowns and shit. And not that we've seen Burks do that, but I think he has better outlook, better possibility. I'll roll with Burks. No problem, Jackson. Thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate you, brother. Guys, let me know any other questions y'all got. I went over all the bets already for the day, so y'all can just watch this afterwards and check out that if you need, or if you got any last questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm about to get out of here. But throw them in there, boys and girls. Throw them in there. Let's check out ESPN real quick. See if there's any last second fantasy news or anything as we're coming in. See. So yeah, it looks like Gus Edwards is going to play. Demarcus Robinson will play. Duvernay will play. Likely didn't even travel with the team. Obviously, we know Sam Darnold is a starter for Carolina. Fields inactive, not going to play. So Joe Mixon we know is out. Jamar Chase we know is out. Judy we know has been out. Hamler's out. Yeah, bro. Keenan Allen's going to play 2 weeks in a row. I know it's crazy to you know, risky, but it is what it is. He's the guy. I mean, Mike Williams is not there now. He's out, so you got to roll with Keenan Allen. He's a good play. He's a good play, and he's one of my prop bets to take the higher over. I think it was like 60 receiving yards or something like that. We know Mostert is out, so big day for Jeff Wilson incoming. We know Lenny Fournette is out, so big day for Rashard White. Gage is out, so Julio is pretty much the number 3 wide receiver now with Scotty Miller, whatever that's going to mean. We know, of course, we've got Rondell Moore out. Marquise Brown is back from IR, so he will be playing. Zach Ertz, we know, is out and gone. Tony is out. Mike Williams out. We know Matt Stafford is out. Allen Robinson questionable. So keep an eye on that up to game time. He plays a later game, but even with the QB situation, it's like you don't really want to play him anyway. So Higby looks like he's going to play, but keep an eye on that. Josh Jacobs, same thing. Keep an eye on it before kickoff is something that could flare up. So you just got to be careful. Got to be careful. And we know Debo, same thing, questionable. We don't know. It looks like he is going to play, but we saw even last week him on the sideline having to keep stretching that thing out. It was really bothering him. So obviously that can limit his play. So that is pretty much it. Anything else y'all got? Throw it out there quick before I hop off. And we'll see y'all tomorrow night, Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll get the recap going over all the games that happen and all the fantasy shit. So other than that, guys, I am out. Hit me up. Throw some comments in the on the video if you watch this after. And I'll try and get back to you before game time. Or of course, you can hit me up on Instagram, Dynasty Life Fantasy, and I'll try and get back to you in the DMs there. But all right, guys, we out. Thanks for tuning in.